Episode 3, Driven or Depleted? Navigating your expectations versus actual experiences in order to manage money, marriage, and moneyhood.
Daddy, can I play the music now? Where did we go?
You know that I got love for my kids.
This is me and Daddy here, and Jenny also. And we're here to teach you something. Founded by So You're Grind. And it goes a little something like this. Take it over, Daddy.
Welcome to Family Abide, So Your Grind. This is a podcast series highlighting lessons learned by the hard knocks and by grace. My name is Robert E. Meska Jr. and my co-host is Divine Lee, aka D. Lee. Our podcast intersects between the culture, faith, family, and finance. All right, bet. I'm going to do this better. I got it. Driven or Depleted? Episode 3. Navigating your expectations versus your actual experiences in order to manage money, marriage, and motherhood. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Divine, are you ready?
Yes.
D. Lee?
Yeah.
You in the house?
Yeah.
Why are you so dry today?
Am I kidding? You're just talking to me.
All right. So I'm just talking to you. All right. So we're here on Family Abide.
So You're Grind this time. We're on Family Abide. So You're Grind again with Journey. Journey, show them what you got. You can't play. I can't turn around.
Okay, tell me. All right, Journey, tell them a little something about you.
I said hi, so you're grind outside the home. Today, me and Journey are gonna pick out the financial word of the day.
You're going to pick out a financial word
Take
of the day.
it over, Daddy.
All right, so
Take it over, Daddy.
here, go ahead. That's the financial word of the day.
Journey here.
Okay. Do you know, hey, Divine, can you read?
I dropped it.
You dropped it. Pick it up.
Sorry, folks.
Do you know, can you read the letters on that?
I'm gonna read. Principal.
L. That's principal.
Principal.
You can give it to- Journey, can you see that?
Where?
It's right there. Principal. The amount of money you borrow through a loan. Principal. So I have a question. What do I have here?
Fruit snacks.
I have fruit snacks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What color fruit snacks do we have here?
Red, orange.
Divine, Journey, tell me what other colors you have?
Blue.
Blue?
Blue and
what?
how do you say it?
Good. Journey, what color is this?
Purple.
Purple. Okay, good.
And red, orange, and blue.
Mm-hmm. So,
Thank you.
do you know what it means to borrow something?
I know.
What does it mean?
It means that you it means like you just ask for something. Can I have it for just 1 minute and I'll give it back to you? Like when I asked Daddy to borrow these fruit snacks we have right here, and then he might say yes.
Yes. So, but look, there's only 2 blues, right?
Yes.
So, if you borrow 1 blue, okay?
then Daddy can have the other one.
Yes, but also this is principal. So if you have a loan,
Have it too.
you can have one. I'll give you one too. I'll give you a red one, right?
Can I eat it?
Not yet,
Why?
because we're talking about it. If you borrow a fruit snack, right, and you have to pay it back, all right, but you can't just give one back. So if somebody gives you something, Mommy and Daddy is only going to expect you to give one back. But if you borrow something from the bank, they're going to want you to give 2 back. Can you believe that?
Yes, I can believe it.
How can you believe it?
I just can't believe it because my mind is blown.
Your mind is blown.
I just can't take it anymore.
So What is this? If I give you just one of that, and
Back to part.
you just good, and you borrow it, what is that called? It's this word that we just talked about.
Principal.
It is principal, right? So whatever you borrow is principal, okay? But if you got to give more back, like if you have the bank, then you got to give 2 back.
Yes, that is the financial word of the day. We're talking about the financial word for the day today on the weekend is principal.
And what is principal?
Principal is when you borrow something and they will give you 2.
If you borrow 1,
The
it's the original amount that you borrow.
and then they're gonna want you to give 2 back.
Yeah, the 2 back. The second one is interest, okay?
The gummy bears.
Gummy bears. Ooh. So you can have that. That's your principal. Here, Journey, that's your principal.
Can I eat it?
Yeah, go ahead and eat it. But remember, a lot of times when somebody gives you something,
I want purple.
you want purple? Here you go. They're going to want something back. Okay? They're going to ask for more than just what you borrowed back. They're going to ask for interest.
Ooh, yes. That is exactly what's gonna happen. Yes, it actually is.
And why is that going to happen?
Because we're talking about family advisor guide today. And Jordan just wants to talk. Just give us a minute for Jordan to talk.
If I give you 1, what is that?
It's a principle.
It's principal, right? Okay. So if you give me 1, it's back. But what is the bank gonna want? Is it gonna just want its principal back, or is it gonna want more?
It's gonna want 2.
It's gonna want 2 back. And why is that? Because they want something. They want a return on their principal. They want a return. So there you go. One more here. Anything else you want to tell the people? All right. Anything else for the people?
Me,
Journey, what you got for the people?
some gummy bears.
Everybody gets gummy bears?
One to sister, gummy, and one to Johnny.
All
I
right.
got a question, Daddy.
Go ahead. What's your question?
Okay, people, so Mommy's here today. She just came. Mommy's here today. She just came. She brought us some food today. You already know Journey's here. She was not on the show yesterday. I mean, a long time ago, but now she's here. Here you go. Because she just didn't want to go, and Daddy said it's okay.
All right. Well, thank you for choosing.
Thank you, everybody. And thank you, everybody.
All right. 1, 2, family abide.
So you're great.
I am here with Charity CB Metzger today, and she is none other than my wife. And I thought that this would be a great time to introduce you guys to her. And we're going to be doing this occasionally with the yard, and we'll go a little bit into that in a little bit. But I just want her to introduce herself, tell the people where they can find you online, and a little bit about yourself.
My name is Charity C.B. Metzger. I am the child and daughter of Frankie Buckner Jr. and Kathy Buckner. I am from Miami, Florida originally. I am a professional dancer, or I was, but I'm still a dancer at heart. I dance for the Philadelphia Dance Company, second company, and I performed with the first company. I danced with Garth Fagan Dance Company, and I went to Howard University and studied dance as well, and New World School of the Arts in high school.
And where can they find you on?
They can find me at charities.notes on Instagram. That's at CHARITYS.notes.
Okay, and right now, this is our first episode of The Yard, and for everybody who went to the HBCU, hopefully they have an idea what a yard is. For those who don't, Charity, what kind of happens on the yard?
First of all, if you don't know, an HBCU is a historically Black university or college, or did I say that right? Historically Black college or university. We both went to the illustrious Howard University, where we met. I think you had graduated already by the time we met, and I was still in college. The yard is the place of gathering, the meeting of the minds, bodies, and souls from every college in the school, every major. You all meet there, you chat it up, you talk to your friends. My favorite spot is, well, it used to be Lula Vera Childers Hall. That was the Fine Arts building. It's now called the Chadwick Boseman College of Arts. College of Fine Arts, sorry.
Yeah. So everybody had their place on the yard. So it's one of those things where you talk about what's going on in the world. You have different minds, different peoples, different ideas. And, you can go from different place to different place and have the same conversation on the yard with different people. So it's really a good place to have an exchange of ideas. So one of the things that we did to kind of engage that exchange of ideas is that we listened to Kendrick Lamar's album. And
I have not listened to the album in full.
She has not listened to the album in full, but I thought that it would be really good to listen to We Cry Together.
And firstly, I thought it was going to be a kind of remix and homage to the OJs. It was not, so I was thoroughly surprised, but it was a good listen.
Yeah, and I just think it's about Kendrick does a great job in pushing us and pushing couples, pushing people to redefine the way in which we talk to one another. Redefine the way in which we engage in agreements and disagreements, and pushing the range of what we consider normal and abnormal behavior. What do you think?
Well, this is something that we certainly just talked about yesterday, in terms of me being, in a way, a softie, very delicate woman, and wanting to be talked to in a very specific way. And I want to preface that by saying Robert is very delicate, but I always push him to be even more so with me, because at even like the slightest raise of his voice, I'm like, I think you need to lower your voice. Or, if he looks at me a certain way or sucks his teeth, I'm like, okay, what is that about? Let's talk about that. I mean, that's not to say that we don't have those hard conversations or those arguments sometimes where they get a little bit out of control. Not quite like that. I mean, not at all like that. But the way you would have me think that I talk to you or I say that you talk to me is like, well, I'm not saying this and I'm not saying that. I'm like, I'm not saying you're saying that.
So, but I mean, for some people, that's a very normal way in which they communicate with each other. And there are a lot of benefits and there's a lot of drawbacks to that. And one of the things here is that I want to promote avenues and ways in which we could talk as a family. We can talk about household money issues. I mean, during the last couple of days, we've had, challenges, as you call it, a productive struggle, or it could be called an argument. We like to call it a productive struggle. In ways we talk about money and views about money. And they weren't all easy conversations.
I'm going to say, honestly, and this is what happens all the time. I do remember that we had an argument yesterday. I can't exactly pinpoint what the argument was about. And this was just yesterday, but I have taught like 5 classes today on a Monday. So my memory is fleeting. I forget very quickly. And you know that.
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the things I think you were just kind of, you thought I had made up my mind and I wasn't listening. At least yesterday.
Okay, what specifically were we talking about?
Let's go. Let's continue.
No, I forgot that fast.
All right. So these episodes will be sprinkled into Family Abide, and we will talk about money issues, marriage, money and marriage, and motherhood from your viewpoint. So,
and yours.
and mine. You recently took out a student loan.
We going straight there.
Straight
Gosh. There. Okay.
You recently took out a student loan for the first time. How was that process? And what did you learn about yourself?
I learned that I had know absolutely nothing about this process. And I'm learning as I go along. It's I've learned, I'm going to start with this because we've been saying it, or I said it to you initially, like, I feel like when we have money conversations, it's kind of traumatic for me. It's like, I have to think about things I've never thought of before and learn about things that I haven't learned, just because the way that I was brought up learning about money is completely different from yours. So understanding like how beneficial it is to take out a loan, and putting a perspective of investment and not debt. Because, can I explain why I took out the loan?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, but just to throw in there, you were very anti-debt mindset.
I am, but that's partly of the way I was brought up. I didn't have any undergrad student debt.
Which is a blessing.
Which is a complete blessing and privilege, as you always let me know. My parents, thank you so much for putting the three of us, my brothers and sister, through college. And we didn't have any debt. My brother might have some, but we can put that out. But after college, I didn't have any student debt. And my parents supported me while I was dancing semi-professionally and not getting paid dancing. I had many other jobs while I was dancing. But, I was able to save a lot of that money while my parents supported me with housing, my phone bills, and things that most people probably, I don't know how my parents are going to feel about me sharing this information.
Well, I think a lot of people are on family plans with like phones, so that's pretty normal. But I mean, they assisted you through, just like a lot of people.
Until we got married.
Yeah.
And it was, and I think part of the trauma, and I don't, was that the word that I used?
You said triggering.
Triggering, sorry. So not traumatic. It's triggering because, while I was dancing semi-professionally and even professionally before we got married, my mindset was that I had to have some income just in case my parents decided, for whatever reason I created in my mind, just in case my parents decided, you know what, we can't do this anymore. Mm-hmm. You have to figure this out for yourself. We've done this for long enough. So I wanted to have what I still call a cushion, like that just in case money, just in case, mom and dad were like, okay, Charity, we've done this. You're ready to handle this on your own. But they never did that, graciously and thankfully to them. But it wasn't until we got married and they pretty much were like, all right, she's your problem now. And that's why even in my vows, I say, you got to deal with the monster that my parents created.
Yeah, and you got married relatively young. So, you were still in your growth phase, as far as just learning about money and a lot of different aspects of it. So you were learning and then you became married, which is a whole another challenge, because now you have to kind of work with marriage and money and different people's ideas. But before we get to that, I just want to get back a little bit about the loan situation. What were the biggest differences between managing money versus managing debt? And what type of feelings or sensations did that create in you?
So I haven't technically started managing my debt as far as the loan yet. I will say, let me start from the beginning, because in the beginning, I did not want to take out a loan. I was pretty against it.
You were trying very hard just to try
I
to
did
pay
not want to take out a loan. I was like, I'm going to figure it out. And you let me struggle through that. You pretty much were like, I am not going to say anything. I'll let her figure it out. And I can't remember at what point I was like, yo, I don't have the money to do this. I can only put so much on a credit card. And not even that. It was the fact that even though I think my credit card...
Oh, actually, there was another issue. Sorry to cut you off. That came up was you didn't even have the option to take out student loans for a couple of times.
Oh, yeah, because I wasn't full-time.
Technically, you were full-time in the program, but according to FAFSA standards, you weren't full-time. Mm-hmm. So that was another challenging component that you had to learn on the fly because you haven't
I'm still learning. But so I had a 0% on one of my credit cards. I feel like there's a lot of background information that people don't know because we also 2 years ago cut up most of our credit cards. So I was down to like 2 main credit cards and a few store credit cards. So
you had no credit card debt
no credit card debt. My credit score was like an 815 or something like that, and I was on the money. Thank you to Kingdom Fellowship AME and what's the man's name? Dave Ramsey, Financial Peace University. So I put, I think, my first 2 semesters on a credit card, and
you paid one cash.
But I just paid the credit card off. I paid it on my credit card.
Okay.
And then I paid that credit card off. I'm still kind of paying that. That's one of the ones that I'm still kind of behind on because I like to have my credit cards at 0. So every month I pay off my credit card so it's at 0. And every January I like to have all of my credit cards at 0 so I can pretty much start over. It's not the fiscal year technically, but that's like the beginning of my fiscal year. So at a certain point, I had accumulated like $5,000 on a credit card. And I talked to you. I think I talked to my mom. I don't think I talked to my dad because I wasn't sure what my dad would say in terms of like, I don't know. I didn't want him to feel like he needed to help. Because that's how my dad is like, he's been my hero since I was a little girl. So I was like, Superman, come to the rescue. So once I had gotten to a certain point, I'm like, well, this credit card bill is due in March or April of next year. I can't keep putting money on this credit card. The interest is going to be, exponential. So I think I talked to you about getting a loan and what I started to talk to you because I'm still talking to you and asking you questions about what it means to have a loan and accruing interest and all of that stuff. So I finally did take out the loan, and honest to goodness, I did that last year and I'm doing it again this year. And it's like I never did it because I don't remember any of it. I'm asking Robert questions every other day. And he's trying to be so patient with me, but I'm still like, I don't know what you're talking about. But I actually got my refund back from...
A lot of people know about that refund check.
But I think, and it was a lot bigger this time around because, I'm coming up on my last semester in the summer semester. And, I needed money for some things. My car was also broken into, so I had to use some money to get a computer and all that stuff. So I got that student loan, and I think I don't know if I called you or I texted you, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so relieved because I was kind of stressing about getting the loan and not having enough money to pay off my credit cards that I had already and when I say debt, my credit card debt is not like $2,000 or like $20,000. It's not even like $10,000. My credit debt for me is like my balance is not at 0, and which is a privilege. Robert will always let me know, Charity, that's a privilege. Most people don't have that benefit. So I got that refund back, and I texted Robert and said, you know what? I feel so relieved. I feel like I don't have to worry about paying off my credit cards. Like I have money to pay those off because it's only my tuition cost that was on it. And so
one of the other things that we brought up was that the fact that you were triggered by, the money conversation, but also the fact that how you're being relieved right now, but can you tell me a little bit more about understanding your loan and how that made you feel better? Because you were still concerned about taking out a student loan. And then you started diving into what does this entail? What are the payment terms? How does knowledge about what you're actually getting into help you with that fear or triggering?
I still don't know everything, but I think the beginning of understanding for me in that situation was finding out my loan servicer, because initially I didn't know who it was. And I know you had told me about, the APR. You were like, well, your APR shouldn't be more than 5% or something like that. And so because I found out my servicer and I was able to get on that website and see how much money was in the loan and what the percentage rate of the APR was, and I was able to do some calculations, and then I was able to ask you a few questions. It was kind of like, oh, so I'm not paying an extra $500 a month on it's an extra $500 for the year, which is divided by 12 isn't so bad as looking at, okay, well, I'm going to be paying, my monthly rate or bi-monthly rate, because I do know we've practiced, and you told me this before, like pay off your credit card bi-monthly, or by every 2 weeks instead of once a month, so that interest goes down. So we've been practicing that, and I've been practicing that. So I think it'll be all once we get to the game, once that loan starts, then I'll be able to kind of see, okay, Cherry, this is what you need to do. But I think it was better for me in understanding how to prepare, because I didn't know what preparation looked like in terms of the loan. And now I'm better able to see, okay, first of all, this is an investment because of the reason that I chose to go to school at this moment. And I'm sure we'll get into that later. But also, it's like, you don't have to pay it all off right now. And you can make a plan to pay it off. And what does that plan look like?
And I think you hit on a couple of different things. Whether you have $100,000 of debt, whether you have $5,000 of debt, you have to be aware of what you actually have and then made a plan. I didn't coach you on that. It was really, I was really good that you just kind of came to that. Because a lot of times people are nervous. People are nervous, to really just see, man, how much do I really owe? And then how can I really resolve the situation? So something else that I want to get into that I think kind of comes up, especially with marriages and dynamics. When a power dynamic exists in a marriage in regards to knowledge about finances, retirement, insurances, etc., what are some of the things that we did well? And what are some of the things that we could have done better? Because, obviously there's challenges when, one party may know more or may not know more. And you're trying to manage it. And you're trying to figure it out. Like, what are some of the things we did well? And what some of the things we could have done better?
I think we do pretty well now. I feel like we just always have to go back to the beginning, because I don't remember when it was, but I know it was very soon in our marriage. And we moved to Rochester. Well, I was already there. You moved to Rochester full time. And I remember walking into the house in our 1-bedroom apartment, and you were in the restroom, and you were like, well, I need to talk to you about my loans or something. And I was like, I don't know why you got to talk to me. Those are your loans. Mind you, we just got married months ago, understanding our vows for rich or poor. I was not considering that at all. But we had never talked about your student loan debt before we got married. Now, I'm sure there was some kind of productive struggle within that, but I feel like that was kind of the beginning of the end of talking about your loans. And after that, you would just kind of, once you had to readjust something, you would give me a paper and say, sign it, and then you go away. You wouldn't say anything else about it. So we never really talked about your loans until probably recently, where you're like, I'm almost finished paying it off. But I do know We didn't talk about it much. However, there was a portion of our finances that was unattainable because it was going towards your loan.
Yeah, so I mean, for a lot of people and a lot of couples, student loan debt is going to shape what they can and what they can't do. Whether they can buy a car, whether they can afford to have a baby, whether they can go on vacation, I guess responsibly. A lot of times you can't do certain things, but the question is, how responsible can you actually do them? But no, we talked about money a little bit, but I don't think our story was like, we really went down into the nitty gritty about money before.
No, we didn't. And even more recently, we always say we're going to have a financial meeting. We were doing it more consistently before, every couple of months, because I feel like I'm a budgeter. I know in Financial Peace University, you learn who is the nerd in your family and who is what's the other word?
The spender.
Is it called the spender? I feel like there was another word. The nerd and the spender. And who is the nerd, Robert?
Well, I think there's a hybrid. I don't think this is really a straight nerd spender, because I'm not a spender either.
Robert, but you will buy more because you see purchases as investments, or like, we're gonna need it later. We might as well get it while it's on sale.
Oh, absolutely. I'm definitely more about like if something's on sale, the value.
And for me, and I think this is something that I struggle with. I will punish myself with money. Like, you can't afford it, don't get it. And so even if I need it, I'll be like, not today, honey, not today. But Robert is like, it's on sale, girl, get it.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's one of those things where, if we're going to end up paying for it, or is it going to be more?
Right.
And how do we manage that? So, but I think you bring up a lot of good points there about that. But one of the things I want to talk about, because you said the spender and the budgeter, I came to you the other day. I said, are you really budgeting or are you allocating?
Did you? I think I asked you a question before that.
You might have asked me a question.
That's okay. Yeah. Because I do like a budget. I think I was better at budgeting before. That was hard to say. Mm-hmm. Better at budgeting before. But because my cushion has been depleted, mm-hmm. and because I'm paying off I'm not paying off my loans, but I am paying off my credit cards, which I paid my tuition for. And there's so much happening this year. I'm in a wedding. The girls are in a wedding. There, like, other things have been happening.
You're traveling.
I'm traveling for school. I also travel for pleasure
and for graduation potentially.
Yeah, and so I've been doing a lot more. But in terms of, because I don't have that cushion anymore, there are certain things that I'm like, I want to do this, so I'm going to do it. It's not really in the budget, but I'm going to find a way to do it.
And one of the things I think that why you liked getting me to get into have one of those budget meetings, because it created a sense of comfort. Your fear level went down because you were kind of like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know how. But I remember one time we had a meeting about finances, and you was like, "Oh, I thought it was worse."
Oh, I did. I did.
And you were just like, "Oh, okay.
Okay, it's not that bad."
So, I mean, I think that's part of the discussion and how you can feel better is whether your couple's discussing some of these things and just kind of bringing these issues up.
And the thing is also, because we're talking a lot about my loans, and you guys have heard Robert's story about how much he owed. Because
I don't think they actually know the whole story.
But you've talked about how much debt you have.
No, I haven't talked to them.
I heard, no, you did it in the intro. You said...
Oh, I did.
Look,
I did. Okay.
Let me raise my hand because I listened to the podcast. And so I didn't know exactly how much. I knew how much time. I knew how long. I knew that Robert would be paying off his loans within 10 years. Now, when you first get married, 10 years sounds like a very long time. But guess what, Robert? How long have we been married?
10 years.
10 years. So looking back, it's like, oh, okay. But Robert is still, or he has been still saving that money because of the not loan forgiveness, for
Public service loan forgiveness.
Service loan forgiveness, but also because of COVID, they held.
Oh yeah,
But you were still
student loan pause.
So you still were saving that money as if you would have to pay it. And so I still don't know what it looks like or what it will look like when Robert doesn't have to pay loans, because there are still things that we are paying off. We did some things with the house. Like, we did a lot of stuff over COVID that needs to be paid off. And we lived our best COVID life. We weren't sitting here.
Well, I think, a lot of times people were not traveling.
Yeah.
Or they weren't doing as much. So if we're spending more time in the home, you may have wanted to make that home a little bit more comfortable. Yeah. But, I think we both do it as far as budgeting and allocating. I think we can do a better job on, really, specifically budgeting. We allocate.
I hold on, but I will say we were both proud of me because I wanted to go to Trader Joe's. Mm-hmm. Well, I had gotten a facial. And the Trader Joe's was next to the place that I went to. And I said, I want to go to Trader Joe's. How much money should I spend? Mm-hmm. And you said $50. And I went to Trader Joe's and I spent $50. I went down the aisle and I said, what do you want? What should we get? You said, get some frozen lunches. Mm-hmm. I went straight down that aisle. I got a bunch of frozen lunches, a few snacks, because I love my snacks from Trader Joe's. And I paid $48 for that.
Yeah, and I think, I think typically, and this is something that you will come up, we have discussions about, whether, if you're sticking to a budget, are you struggling? Because if we go to the supermarket and say we have $100 and you're like, you know what, I want to get some extra juice or some, and then, and we go over that $100. Mm-hmm.
Extra juice.
Yeah, I don't know, ice cream. It makes it, you kind of like, well, are we struggling because we can't go over that $100?
Can we get juice?
Can we get, and that. And that's why I say it's the difference. We'll allocate $100. Hey, this is $100 for grocery. But when we actually go to the grocery store, we'll pay $120 and be like, hey, we allocated $100. So that's why I was like, we could do a better job with budgeting, both of us.
Yeah. But I feel like, especially with the grocery shopping now, I don't do much of the grocery shopping at all. Before, I don't know if you necessarily liked when I went grocery shopping, because I would get the things that I know I like. Like, Robert, if you were to go to the grocery store, which you haven't really done, you would get the stuff that's on sale.
I do. I get
everything that I like is not always on sale, but I know what I like. And the thing, because I know I'm not a picky, well, I guess you can call it picky. I know what I like to eat. So I'm not going to, if I haven't had it before, it's probably not going to be my favorite. It's going to go bad or be wasted because it's not something I enjoy eating, which happens a lot of the time. But, Robert goes shopping. It's like, well, I'm going to get the stuff that's on sale, even if nobody eats it.
I try to get things that people eat. But
before, I'm talking about not now. Before, but even now, we snack a lot. So most of the our grocery budget is like, well, we know we got to get some Pirates booty and some fruit snacks. So we have to get those things.
Yeah, and the kids will actually, eat a lot of those things. So with motherhood, money, and marriage, these are all relationships that often come without a playbook. How do you manage them all and remain sane?
What'd you tell me when we got married?
That's a big question. I don't know.
And what do we tell everybody else who's getting married? It starts with a D. Delegate. Robert, oh my gosh, if y'all would have saw his face just now.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. So delegate is the word.
Delegate. I have learned to, first of all, and not even delegate, but notice when I need help. I think as first-time mothers, sometimes you feel like you have to do everything and you will struggle trying to do everything. And even if your husband or your partner says that they're going to do something, you pretty much tell them how they're going to do it. Writing lists, like if you're going to do this, you're going to make a list. You need to do this, this, and this. And really not allowing them, and I'll talk about Robert, I don't think, especially with Divine, that I probably allowed you to be the father that you wanted to be in a lot of cases. In terms of like, I know you wanted to like feed her, and I was nursing full time, and you were not going to give her a bottle because she already had nipple confusion. You guys can Google that. And it was a lot of milk also. So she was like, this is just too much for me. And I didn't really want Robert to bottle feed her. And so I think even if I have another child, you probably won't bottle feed her that much. But I know when we first got married, I feel like I thought I was supposed to cook all the meals, wash all the dishes, do everything a certain way. And Robert was supposed to sit and have his feet up. And Robert started cooking. He started washing dishes. And I think we got into a really big argument about that at first. And now, if Robert doesn't cook or wash the dishes, I'm like, are you okay? Are we going to eat tonight? So I think in terms of motherhood, it's not even delegating. And Robert also, he washes the girl, like gives them baths most nights, unless I'm taking a shower with them. He's a great cook. So he puts it down in the kitchen. He cleans the kitchen. I mean, I pretty much do like anything else that Robert doesn't do, like the bedrooms. And I have my set of things that I do. And Robert,
you fold.
I fold the clothes because I don't like the way you fold them.
And sometimes I don't like the way you fold them, but that's just a battle.
But I fold you don't care how you put your clothes in your drawer. My clothes go in my drawer a very specific way.
Exactly. So I know that, it's just beneficial because if I fold them, it's just going to get refolded.
I'm going to have to refold it all over again.
So, yeah.
Come on. And I know, I talked to my friends about this. People like do separate laundry. I didn't know that was a thing.
You know what we do though? That actually changed our relationship? Separate toothpaste. Hey, y'all, that's something small, but we both got separate toothpaste, and I think that really helps.
Oh my
you got
gosh,
your own
we do. Because why? Because Robert squeezes from the middle or the top.
But we like different. You like the more minty.
Oh, yeah, and he likes you like Crest, and I like Colgate.
And we just, we was going back and forth, and we just like, you just do your Colgate, and I'm gonna do my Crest, and we gonna be okay.
Oh, but we also have 2 sinks and 2 shower heads.
So it works.
What does Pastor Watley say? The best thing for a marriage is what? Square footage. Yeah, okay. You have your places to go.
So, but I mean, people do things, and that's okay, and I think that's all right with it. So I think this has been a good interview.
We're done?
We're almost done.
Oh.
Yeah, you don't have to. It's like I said, this is... Actually, I don't want to be more interview. I want to be more conversational. I think this was a good conversation.
Well, you also, I guess, should tell them that this is not the first time we did this.
This is not the first time we did this. We did one last week, and it was an interview. And I didn't even listen to it. I was just like, I didn't think that went very well. And... I think you felt some type of way, but I was just like...
Well, that's not what you said.
I don't remember exactly what I said.
That is not what you said. You said, you text me about it. And I think the text conversation was good. And then every time we had a conversation after that, you would say, this was better than what we did.
It was better than what we did.
As if to say it was my fault. Now, in the text, I will say, Robert said... I feel like I could have done a better job of interviewing you. But every time we would have a conversation after the interview, he would say, this was so much better than what we did last week. And I took it as it was my fault.
Yeah. So, I think that a conversational format was better. So we're almost done here. Children don't often grasp what parents go through in order to maintain a home. What would you want them to know about mommy and what she values based off of her money?
Ooh. I want them to know that we should use our money to give. We should give of our talents, our gifts, and our finances. And sometimes giving doesn't always look good, because when you give, you're not publicizing to the world. Like, oh, I gave this person that thing, and I gave that person that thing, and I give this much money to church, and I give this much to this organization. Giving isn't always reciprocal, but it's always cyclical. Now, you might give something to someone and may not receive anything back from that person, but you might receive something else, whether it's someone's time or someone's money or someone's talent, from a completely different person. And maybe you didn't expect that, or think that that was something even worth, and I put my air quotes up, even worth having. But pouring into organizations and pouring into people, both with your time and your money and your talents, is something that's going to do your spirit good, even if it's not praised in the way that social media likes to publicize things like that. It will do your spirit good to know that you've helped someone, that you've supported someone, that you've made someone feel better about their day. That you can be a light for them in anything that they're doing, while God is continuing to fill and overflow everything in your life.
All right. Financial word of the day. This is the financial word that we pick from Sense to Sense, and we're going to go ahead and talk about it briefly, about what your experience is. So you can just say what your experience is growing up, what your experience is now, how you feel about the word. Principal, the amount of money you borrow through a loan. All right, so what are your feelings
about principal?
Principal.
So these conversations are so circular. God is good. I don't know, because I won't know until I start paying off my loan.
Your student loans.
My student
But you
loans.
have had other loans.
I've had my car loans.
Yeah, but I don't know if you thought about it the same way.
You know what? I guess not, because when you think about, I'm using my air quotes now, assets, like your house, your car, probably a computer. Those are all tangible things. So when you use a credit card or take out a loan to buy your car or your house, you have something to show for it. When you take out a loan for school, you're doing a lot of work.
Yeah, you're doing a lot, but there's also loans. You can take out a loan to start a business. You can take a loan, so there's a lot of things that...
Yeah, but even when you have a business, it seems like, I guess you can think about a school loan in the same way. I guess the biggest part is just that I've never had to take out a loan for many things, unless you're talking about Sparkle, my little Volkswagen Bug. That's the first loan I've ever taken out. My first credit card outside of my parents was when we got married.
You never had a credit card?
I never had a credit card.
I introduced you all to the 0% stuff.
You see, this is why my husband is a bad influence. I still would have been debt free right now. But
you used that card for the wedding, though.
I did. I don't use it anymore. I didn't cancel it. I just cut it up. They probably canceled it because I don't know.
And it's important not to cancel your cards.
Yeah.
Not all your cards, because you want to maintain your credit history and credit profile. And we've had discussions about that, about what a good credit score is. And I don't know if that's things you really thought about prior to
being with you and our credit score competitions and all that stuff. No, but I'm still learning. I'm proud to be still learning. I am certainly thankful and grateful that I haven't had a lot of debt. I think that was helpful in our marriage. And it is. I'm not sure what it would be like to have two individuals paying off. And I mean, look at God, because it all worked out, because you're done paying off your student loan and my student loan is not as much as his. So and it's pretty much, it's less than a car payment. So it just seems manageable. I mean, I'll learn about principal once I start paying it off. My girls, Divine and Journey, they'll know more about this stuff than I did. And hopefully they're better. And not even that. Hopefully they're not even more... Hopefully they understand money and how not to be fearful of it, and that's triggered by it.
That's my big thing. I want them to feel comfortable and not have anxiety, because I do feel like you have anxiety about, and a lot of anxiety is because you don't understand. I just
don't know. And I don't know what I don't know.
But you should want to know.
I'm learning.
Yeah. So I think that's part of the process.
What did you say about me the other day about things that I don't want to know?
You're very passionate about the things that you want to know. And I didn't put it this way, but you're kind of aloof about anything.
No, well, say it the way you said it. You didn't say aloof. You didn't call me.
I know. I was trying to be nice.
This was not nice just now.
So I was like, you were passionate about things, and the things that you don't want to know, you're not really pushed or apply those things.
I don't stress myself out about it.
You don't stress about it. So, no. All right. I didn't prepare you for this one, but we've kind of talked about it, and I think you may have had it. So one of the things that we'll be doing going forward is your verse, your lesson. So I wanted you to give me a verse. Go ahead. We started off the session with a couple verses. Can you give us a verse that has impacted you from the culture, and a verse from the Bible?
Both? Oh, I wasn't prepared for the Bible. So my culture verse is from Kanye West. I don't remember what song it is, but I know he says, having money's not everything, not having it is. Do I need to explain it?
Go ahead, explain it a little bit. Why does it impact you?
Because is it Jay-Z, one of his albums, he's like, it's there's a word that they use. It's provocative. It's like, what does that mean? I think I've spent a lot of time trying to figure out, what does that mean? Having money is not everything. Not having it is. And I do think growing up middle class, with the idea that you have to work to earn money, and you have to use that money for things that progress you economically. Whereas I feel like sometimes there is more risk in not having money. And when you don't have money, then it propels you to do things that might frighten you. Maybe you can't afford it, but you still go for it. Or you have this idea and you hustle more. That's one thing that we talk about all the time. It's like, I don't have that hustle mentality, but I'm going to work to earn money. But there's a different type of hustle when, maybe you didn't grow up with certain types of things and you learn how to get those things. So I think that, having money, there's an ease and a comfort of knowing, like, well, if I want to buy these Nikes, then I'll save up to buy these Nikes. But when you don't have money to buy Nikes, then what are you going to do to get the money to get those Nikes, So that I'll start there. I think we'll do more yards, so I'll have a Bible verse the next time.
All right, so we'll leave it with that. Go ahead and repeat. What's the verse?
Having money's not everything. Not having it is.
Okay. All right. Well, I just want to thank our guest, Charity C.B. Metzger, for the first session of the Yard, and you will catch Divine a little bit later with the financial word of the day, principle.
Bye. Bye, fans. Next time. time. On Family Abide, so you're grind with Daddy, Jody, and Divine and Mommy.
Okay.
And Mommy.
Who's got my back?
I got your back.
Who's got my back?
Who got that swag?
Who got that swag?
I got that swag. I want to get up.
Okay, bye-bye.
Gotta keep searching. Living life, no regrets. Ain't no shoulda, woulda, coulda, had an altar. Still been a minute since I've been up at the altar.
Thank you for listening to Family Abide. Make sure to subscribe in order to catch future episodes. Family Abide is available on all your favorite podcast outlets. Remember, life is not just about family. It's not just about wealth. It's about building people and communities that endure without yielding. Always choose your abundance beyond insecurities, debts, and entanglements. The next generation is depending on us. Remember your purpose. Sow your grind and watch it grow. Thank you for joining us on Family Abide.
So you're grind.
Everybody need love. Everybody need love. I'm tired of my problems. I'm tired of the drama. I'm tired of the pressure from my mama and my papa. I'm tired of the pain. I'm tired of the rain. I'm tired of the hurting. I'm tired of the working. I'm tired of the struggling. I'm tired of the hustling. I'm so sick and tired of having nothing.
Jam, you got something to say?
But after that, I'll turn the link on the link.
Yeah, I think it's good developing daddy-daughter relationships.